Hey, what's up, guys? It's Austin here, or Luna. So I just want to apologize in advance that at any point in this video my voice sounds a little different. I'm a little bit sick right now, but should be good in a few days. But anyway, today I have a new story time for you guys today. I hope you enjoy this one. I think it's a pretty crazy one. And if you like this, leave a like on the video, and let's just jump right into this. This story time takes place about a year back. I was hanging out with a friend of mine at his house in my hometown. I had just gotten home pretty recently from California, and my friend wanted to have a party and invite all of our friends over to kind of just like hang out basically because I hadn't seen so many of them. So basically my friend threw a party for me and him, and yeah, a lot of our friends came through and pretty much everybody there I knew, and it was really good to see a lot of them. But this one girl and a few other people showed up. They were kind of like a whole squad of people that I didn't really know that well. They showed up. And specifically, there was this one girl there who was kind of like the leader of the whole group. Like, it was like her friend group. And I knew her from high school. I didn't really know her, but I knew of her from high school. We had some classes together, and she was usually pretty quiet. Like, I didn't really get to talk to her that much in school. I didn't know her very well, but she was pretty quiet, and I'd see her like only talking to her small, specific group of friends. And her group of friends kind of had like a goth sense of style, I would say. And she used to call herself Goth. And she was always super cool seeming, but I just never talked to her. And at this party, she said what's up to me and asked how I was doing, and me and her started talking, and she seemed pretty cool. Now, there were a few, like, I guess red flags, you could say. Now, like, she seemed really cool, but there were a few things about her attitude that seemed a little bit like, I guess, like a red flag. Like, she was telling me about fights she got into with her past friends, and, like, she got into a bunch of fights with her old friends, basically. Like, fist fights. Like, that's how all of her conflict would end, is like in full-on fighting. And that's not a good thing. Like, self-defense is one thing, but just starting fights with people because they like piss you off isn't good. But other than that, she seemed cool. So I keep talking to her, and she ends up giving me her number, and the rest of that party was great. Nothing really happened that night. But the next day, she texts me, and she's like, "Hey, you want to hang out today?" I was like, "Sure." She's like, "All right, cool. What do you want to do?" I'm like, "I don't care. I'm down for anything." She's like, "Okay, well, I have to go to the mall, and I can pick you up and bring you with me." I was like, "Sounds good to me." And she came to my house, picked me up. We hung out that day. That was fine. Like, everything was going great. Next day comes along. This is when shit hits the fan. She texted me again. She's like, "Hey, you want to hang out today again?" I'm like, "Yeah, of course." She came over, picked me up. We were just driving around listening to music, and we hung out for like the whole day. We went to this park, we went to the mall again, and then we stopped at her friend's house, and I met her friend. And after we left her friend's house, she was driving me home, and everything was going great. We were just talking, hanging out, and she drove me all the way to my house, and I get out of the car. I thanked her for driving me home, and I told her to text me when she gets home. And I go inside my house, and immediately I realize, fuck, I left my wallet in her car. So I call her. I'm like, "Hey, I think I left my wallet in your car. Can you just grab it for me? It's in the side door of your car." And she's like, "Yeah, it's in here. Can I bring it to you tomorrow? I'm already kind of close to my house." I'm like, "Yeah, that's fine." And she's like, "Okay, I'm going to call you in the morning. Have a good night." I'm like, "You too." So the whole rest of that night, I pretty much just hung out on my phone, didn't really do a whole lot. I fell asleep pretty early. And the next morning, I wake up, and I check my phone. She didn't text me or call me. I didn't really think anything of it. Figured she just wasn't awake yet or was busy. So I get up, take a shower, get ready for my day. And like a couple hours go by, and she still hasn't called. It's like later afternoon at this point. So I just decided to call her first in case she forgot to call me. So I call her, and she doesn't answer. So I'm just like, all right, whatever. She's probably busy. So an hour after I tried to call, I get a text message from my bank saying that there was a transaction made for like $25 at this clothing store. And we had that clothing store at my mall. So I was like, there is no way that that girl or one of her friends stole my wallet and is at the mall right now with it. And you're probably like, "Luna, what'd you do? You call and cancel all your cards? Like, did you call her?" No, I had a better idea. I was like, I'm going to catch them in the act of using my card at the store. Whoever it is about to get caught red-handed. I'm going to get a ride to the mall with my friend, and we're going to find them. So I call up one of my friends. I tell him the situation. He's like, "Yeah, I'll be there in like 10 minutes. Hold on." And my friend got there fast as fuck. And we get in his car. We go to the mall. It wasn't far from my house. And I get there, and me and my friend start looking through all the stores that either she would shop at or her friends would shop at. So specifically, like Zoomies and Hot Topic. Not to be a dick, but like that's kind of the only good stores we have at them all anyway. So we go there. And sure enough, right outside of Hot Topic, I see her just by herself with a bag in her hand from another store. And I look at her, and she looks at me, and she turns around and starts trying to walk away like I didn't just see her. And I walk up behind her. I'm like, "Hey." And she stops and turns around. She goes, "Oh, hey, what are you doing here?" I'm like, was going to ask you the same question. She's like, I'm shopping. I'm like, yeah, with my card. And she's like, what are you talking about? I was like, you haven't called me all day, and I left my wallet in your car yesterday. You told me it was in your car, and I just got a charge from a store at this mall. And she's like, yeah, well, you know what? You deserve it. I was like, well, what are you talking about? She's like, well, since day one, I knew how scummy you were, and this was the best way to get revenge for what you did back in the day. And I was like, what? What I did back in the day? What the fuck did I do back in the day? And she's like, you remember Michael, my best friend? You bullied the fuck out of him in school. And he showed me all the messages you used to send him. And in my head, I'm like, what the fuck is this girl on? Because I have no idea who Michael is. I have no idea what I sent him. So I ask her, I'm like, what are you talking about? Who's Michael? And she goes in her pocket, grabs her phone, shows me on her phone text messages with her and this dude named Michael. And the text messages were sent the night of the party that I started really talking to her at. So basically, just shortly after that party, she texted her friend and mentioned me and said that she met me and like enjoyed talking to me basically. And then he replied and was like, oh, is it Austin? And then he said this last name that is not my last name. He thought that I was somebody else. So he goes, is it this Austin? And she's like, I don't really know his last name, but probably, yeah, that sounds familiar. And he's like, oh, well, if it's him, do not talk to him. Like, he's got a lot of problems. And he started listing all these issues about this other Austin that he didn't like and that like bullied him in school and shit. I don't know that dude. But pretty much she thought that I was this other Austin that bullied her friend in school and that I was basically some scumbag. And then she pretty much pretended to be my friend to then get an opportunity to like get revenge on me for bullying her friend, which I never did. So basically, after she shows me these text messages, she's just looking at me like in disgust because she thinks that I'm like this other dude that fucking bullied her friend. And my friend is just staring at me with like the biggest smirk on his face because he knows that I'm not that Austin. So I tell her, I'm like, you know, you could have sent a picture of me to Michael and he probably would have said, oh, that's not the Austin I'm talking about. Or you could have asked him for a photo of the Austin he was talking about. Or you could have just simply said, hey, Austin, what's your last name? I don't remember it. And I would have been like, oh, it's this. And you would have known that that wasn't me that your friend was talking about. And she like was completely speechless. She's just like, I'm sorry. I'm just like, yeah, can I just please get my money back now? And she's like, yeah, of course. And she takes out her wallet, pays me back the money she spent, and then takes out my wallet and hands it back to me. I was like, thank you. And she's like, yeah, no problem. Like, I'm so sorry. And in my head, I'm thinking, like, I'm almost impressed. Like, she literally kept up, like, an act while she was mad at me and, like, was pretending to be my friend to gain my trust to then just steal from me. So I was like, wait, did you really, like, from day one think that I was, like, this horrible person that bullied your friend and you, like, pretended to be my friend to just gain my trust to do something to get back at me? And she's like, well, kinda not. Like, I actually did enjoy hanging out with you. That's why I hung out with you. But I was angry at the same time, and like I was waiting to think like what I should do. And that just creeped me out. Like, she was hanging out with me and like plotting at the same time. Like, that just kind of creeped me out. I'm like, wow. But yeah, at that moment I realized why her circle is so small and why she doesn't talk to a lot of people, because she literally cuts people off and doesn't really think before she does things. But yeah, part of me thinks that she was just using that as an excuse and wanted to steal from me just in general. But another part of me, like, believes her reasoning, and that's what made it so creepy. Like, just really did not think before she did that, and who knows what else she would have done. I don't know. That's just really creepy to me. But yeah, she was a little bit crazy and a little bit scary, and I hope she's not watching this. But yeah, immediately after that, me and my friend walked away, and like we were just like completely lost for words. And I immediately called my bank and my credit card company and got those cards canceled and got new ones. And yeah, just moral of the story is keep good track of your things, like your wallet, because I should have double checked before I got out of the car. And don't steal from people. Simple as that. But yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this story time. Please leave a like on the video if you guys did enjoy it. If you guys want to, you can follow me on Twitter at Luna with 2 A's and Instagram, which is at only Luna. I'll put them up on the screen. I usually don't promote my social medias, but I figured I should do that once in a while so you guys can stay connected with me. But yeah, guys, once again, hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below. If you're new to the channel and you like my videos, feel free to subscribe. If you do, thank you very much. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you all for watching again. I'll see you all later. Peace. Welcome.
Welcome to a mind on decline, got a better sense of guidance. I was geeking Ron Weasley out here fucking with Hermione's. I could hardly handle me, I can't take on any clients. We arguing religious synonyms for pseudoscience. Meanwhile, Corey's dying. Meanwhile, the youth of Pop is Annie's transgender rose the ante. I'm just trying to find some words that I could rhyme with. This is weird, this is weird, this is weird.